Yo, welcome back to Heartbeat Arena episode 60, where we keep it 100% all facts, no cap. It's your Trillionaire Chuck. In today's episode, we're diving into some intense topics. Oh my gosh, what do we start? I mean, we're talking about the Washington Commanders upsetting the Detroit Lions. We're going to be analyzing the Ravens' loss to the Bills. I know a lot of people parlays messed up over the weekend because I definitely didn't see the Commanders beating Detroit, and I definitely didn't see the Ravens losing to the Bills. Then we got another season starting up with Unrivaled women's 3-on-3 basketball that's now on the scene. And you know we saved the best for last. Relationship talk. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all the notifications. Why? Because we keep it raw. And every episode is packed with the kind of truth that'll make you rethink everything. So, let's just get into it. So, the Washington Commanders upset the Detroit Lions in a stunning turn of events. The Washington Commanders defeated the top-seeded Detroit Lions with a final score of 45. Commanders 31. Lions on January 18th, 2025. Man, source from ESPN. Here's some things to really think about. Okay, the rookie quarterback, Jayden Daniels, he threw for 299 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns, showcasing remarkable poise under playoff pressure. Guys, this is a rookie and a nice system performing at his best. Gee Louise. I mean, phenomenal performance. Everybody had the Lions beating the Commanders, but Jayden Daniels proved otherwise. I mean, let's talk about it, y'all. He was 22 for 31 with a completion percentage of 71%. Average yards per attempt, 9.6? But man balled out. But see, here's interesting thing I do want to tell you all. Jayden Daniels is currently 4th in QBR rating with 70.5, right? And he's currently 10th in touchdowns with 25, right? But let's go on to the supporting cast. We have Brian Robinson Jr., right? He had 15 carries. Total yards rushed, 77. Average yards per rush, 5.1. He rushed for 2 touchdowns. I mean, he did his thing. He was effective in the game, okay? Then we had Dami Brown, right? The other wide receiver for the Commanders, right? He had 6 receptions, total targets, 8. Total yards receiving, 98, right? Average yards per reception, 16.3. He had 3 first downs, okay? And he had 1 fumble, okay? I mean, hey, things happen. But I want to get to this interesting person because I was telling my friend about this guy here, okay? I was telling my friend about this. Terry McLaurin, right? When I was telling my boy about him, he was like, man, who the heck is he, right? Well, let's look at what he did in this game. He had 4 receptions, total of 6 targets, total yards receiving, 87, right? Average yards per reception, 21.8. He had 1 touchdown. He had 4 first downs. He was very instrumental in this win. Currently, right now, Terry McLaurin is 2nd as a wide receiver in touchdowns with 13. Okay. Hey, for a nobody, hey, to me, it's pretty dang on good. Pretty dang on good. Now, let's talk about the Detroit Lions, okay? Let's go over the stats for them. We had Jared Goff, who was 23 for 40 that game, right? He had a completion percentage of 57.5. Total yards passing, 313. Average yards per attempt, 7.8. He threw for 1 touchdown. He had 3 picks that game, 3 interceptions. In games like this, of this magnitude, when you're in the playoffs, right? You cannot afford a mistake. Now, last episode, I said the Commanders had to play perfect, damn near perfect to beat the Lions, right? Because this is a team that's coming in, stomping teams, 30-piece teams, right? However, that wasn't the case. They got beat, right? And one might say they might have took the Commanders lightly, but hey, when you're in the playoffs in the NFC, you're supposed to be about business. And it just so happened Jayden Daniels just took care of business, right? Okay. But before going into this game, you're talking about a rookie who is knocking off a quarterback. Let's look at what Jared Goff has done this season. Okay, he is second in total yards passing, right, with 4,629. Right, he was fourth in touchdowns with 37 and sixth in QBR with 68.4. I mean, as a rookie, you knocked off this guy, surgical. Known for taking apart the defense, Jayden Daniels gets a hand clap. That wasn't no easy task. That don't mean it's over though, because you got them boys from Philly coming to town. And I'm telling you, with Saquon Barkley, you better not take them lightly at all. But let's look at some more. Let's look at some more stats. You had Jahmyr Gibbs, right, who had 14 carries total. He had a total of 105 total yards rushing. He had average yards per rush 7.5, 2 touchdowns. I mean, 6 receptions. Total yards receiving 70, average yards per reception 11.7. I mean, and this is a running back who's first in touchdowns with 16, fifth in rushing yards with 1,412. Man, I mean, sheesh. We got to talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay, he had 8 receptions, total targets 10. Total receiving yards, 137. Average yards per reception, 17.1. He has 7 first downs, right? Currently, Amon-Ra St. Brown is second as a wide receiver in total receiving yards with 115, right? Total yards reception, he's 5th with 1,263. He's 3rd in touchdowns with 12, okay? Then you have Sam Laporta, okay? Didn't really do much this game. I mean, he has 6 receptions, total targets 7, 51 yards total receiving, average yards per receiving 8.5. He had 1 touchdown. He had 3 first downs, okay? So basically people want to know, well, what happened in this game, right? Well, hopefully you was able to watch it. If not, well, let me tell you what happened. Okay, the Commanders' defense capitalized on key turnovers, right? Especially those picks that Jared Goff had through, including interceptions and fumble recoveries, okay? Shifting the momentum in their favor. Their offense maintained a balanced attack, effectively mixing run and pass, plays to keep the Lions defense on its heels, okay? So here is the question. Do the Washington Commanders have a chance to win the Super Bowl? Well, here's the thing. With their impressive victory over the Lions, the Commanders have demonstrated they are formidable contenders, right? Okay, now, that rookie quarterback, Jayden Daniels, has shown exceptional leadership and performance, okay? Propelling the team into the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not going to be an easy task, okay? It's not going to be easy at all. Now, if they continue this level of play and effectively manage upcoming challenges, their Super Bowl aspirations are within reach. Now, here is the thing with this, okay? If Terry McLaurin could keep balling like he's balling, Brian Robinson Jr. does what he does, Jayden does what he does, they're clicking all centers, their defense has to stop Saquon Barkley. If they are going to win this game, the Commanders' defense has to shut down Saquon. You cannot let Saquon go off on a tear. He cannot be going for 100-something yards, okay? To win this game, you shut Saquon down. You make Jalen Hurts put the ball in the air, okay? That's what you're going to have to do in order to beat the Eagles. Now, if I'm Philly, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Give it to Saquon. When they slow it down, then I'm going to throw it to A.J. Brown, right? It's going to come down to simply defense. This game is going to be about defense. It's not going to be about coaching or nothing. Defense is going to determine who wins this game. Now, after what I saw, I would like for Philly to win, but the way how Jayden Daniels doesn't get, rattled under pressure, we'll see. We gonna see. It's gonna be a hell of a game. Will it be a high-scoring game? I don't think so. This might be one of those 21-14 games, right? I'm not gonna predict who's gonna have 21, right? Because I said the Lions was gonna be like 31-27 or 20 or something. Last episode, can't remember. But this prediction, I want to say Eagles, but I don't. After what I saw, it's up in the air, y'all. It is up in the air. But let's move along. Okay. So we got the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, losing to the Buffalo Bills, y'all. Who saw that coming, right? The Baltimore Ravens suffered a narrow 27-25 loss to the Buffalo Bills on January 19, 2025 in a highly competitive matchup, right? Man, Josh Allen did account for 2 touchdowns, demonstrating his dual threat capability. But let's look at what he really did in the game. He was 16 for 22, completion percentage of 72.7. Total passing yards, 127. Average yard per attempt, 5.8. Currently, before entering this game, Josh Allen was second in QBR rating at 77.3. And touchdowns, he was the 7th with 28, right? Then you had James Cook. 17 carries, total yards rushing, 67. Average yards per rush, 3.9. 3 receptions, total yards receiving, 15. Average yards per reception, 5. And, only thing spectacular about James Cook was that he was, as a running back, he's first in touchdowns with 16, right? But then you got Khalil Shakir, right? Now, he had 6 receptions, total targets, 7. Okay. Total yards receiving, 67, and average yards per reception was 11.2. Okay. 2 first downs, nothing real major. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, they offense rushed from 176 yards on 20 carries, showcasing a strong ground game. Now, with this here, you got Derrick Henry back there and Lamar Jackson, and you have a strong run game. You are a run-first football team, right? But let's talk about what Lamar Jackson and crew did, okay? Lamar Jackson was 18 for 25 with a completion percentage of 72, okay? Total passing yards, 254. Now, that right there, we will look and be like, man, he threw the ball a lot, right? When he probably didn't have to, okay? Average, yards per attempt, 10.2. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That game was hard. That game was competitive, and it was kind of hard to watch. Lamar Jackson, right, currently is first in QBR with 77.3. He is also second in touchdowns as a quarterback with 41. 6 with total pass yards of 4,172. And this game should have just been run the ball, pass later, okay? Guys, we know Lamar Jackson can throw, but damn it if I got Derrick Henry back there, I'm using that motherfucker. All right? What did Derrick Henry do? Glad you asked. How many carries did he have? 16. Total yards rushing, 84. 84 total yards rushing. Average yards per rush, 5.3. The man only had 1 touchdown. Man, this was Derrick Henry's game to run on the Bills. But let's stay focused. Isaiah Likely. Now I like Isaiah Likely because he comes through in key moments. Mind you, Zay Flowers was not playing this game, okay? But let's stay on topic. Isaiah Likely, he had four receptions, total targets 5, right? Total yards receiving 73. Average yard per reception 18.3. He had 1 touchdown. Okay, he had 2 first downs. Okay, then we have Rashad Bateman. Okay, Rashad Bateman. He had 4 receptions. He had a total of 5 targets, right? Total yards receiving 66. Average yards per reception 16.5. He had 1 touchdown. Okay, he had 2 first downs. All right. Justice Hill, like this guy. He had 6 carries. Total yards rushing 50. Average yards per rush 8.3. Okay, he had 2 receptions. He had a total of 7 yards receiving. Average yards per reception 3.5. Okay, no, he was doing his thing. But man, Mark Andrews in today's game, a great tight end. 5 receptions, 7 total targets. Total yards receiving 61. Average yards per reception 12.2. He had 3 first downs. He had 2 carries. Total yards rushing 3. Average yards per rush 1.5. Had 1 fumble. So basically, the Bills defense forced 3 turnovers, right? Which proved pivotal in securing the victory despite the Ravens' effective rushing attack. These turnovers, I mean, man, these turnovers created opportunities, ultimately determined the game's outcome, right? So here is the question, right? This is the $1,000,000 question. Is it the offensive coordinator's fault or is it Mark Andrews' fault? Well, I mean, the Ravens' loss can be attributed to a combination of factors. Like the offense coordinator is responsible for play caller, right? And adjustments. And, no matter what the offense coordinator calls, players got to execute, right? But they got to protect the football. I mean, Mark Andrews, he fumbled the ball, right? Even Lamar Jackson, when he got sacked to the backfield, fumbled. When it comes to playoffs in football, you cannot make mistakes. Mistakes can cost you the game, okay? They could cost you the game, right? The turnover suggests lapses in execution, okay? Indicating that both coaching strategies and player performance, right, need to be evaluated to prevent similar outcomes in the future games. So for the upcoming season, right? Now Mark Andrews, I'm just gonna talk, it's a rarity he fumbles the ball. I mean, the guy came in, hit it out of his hand, like what Peanut used to do, right? I mean, but it just so happened to happen in, one of the biggest games in his career, right? I mean, the game of that magnitude, man, you got to hold on to that ball. But then this is what got me. It was a 2-point conversion, right? He's at the goal, catches the ball, and drops it. I personally feel like, can you blame Mark Andrews for this game? Yes, you can, because you are one of the best tight ends in the NFL today. No questions asked. You haven't fumbled the ball in since 2019, I believe. 2019 is the last time you fumbled the ball. But man, that catch. You are one of the most reliable tight ends in the game. So when Lamar threw it to you and you dropped it, man. But realistically, if I could put it on Mark Andrews, that would be him being a scapegoat. we really got to look at the offensive coordinator. It's the same thing that happened last year. Stop trying to make Lamar Jackson this passing quarterback. We know we could throw the ball, okay? The fact that he had 25 attempts against the Bills, right? And I believe it was, in those weather conditions, you got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry should not have had no fucking 84 yards. What? He was supposed to have up to 100 something. You run the ball. I mean, let's split it. Fuck it. Let's split it evenly. Mark Andrews because of the fumble and the key possession, okay, and then some of that is the offensive coordinator because he should have stuck to the run game. He should have did more running and less passing, okay. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Okay, we're back. So now, I had to give me a little drink. Hint. Man, I'm telling y'all, get your hints. If you haven't done so, make sure you grab some. I love these things. But let's transition. All right, so now we got the Unrivaled Women's 3-on-3 basketball, basically. Okay, now I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. I believe they air every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? 3-on-3 for women to see where they're at skill-wise. I like the idea by Napisha, Collier, and Brianna Stewart. I like the idea of this league. So basically, the Unrivaled Women's 3-on-3 Basketball League has been gaining traction, right? Offering a fast-paced and dynamic alternative to traditional formats, right? So these are what some of the people I say, right? Players. Athletes appreciate the increased playing time and the opportunity to showcase individual skills in a more open court setting, right? So it's not so much double teaming and everything of that nature. It's one-on-one action. It's 3-on-3, right? Still can use the pick and roll and all that stuff. It still plays being ran and stuff. But it's just basically to gauge where women are at. And I kind of saw that. I'm going to be doing more takes on it. I'm going to be talking more about it. I'm going to do more coverages on it, right? Okay. What are the fans saying though? Well, spectators enjoy the high scoring games, right? And the intimate venues which provide a close connection to the action. Hopefully I'm saying the word right. But then experts note that in 3-on-3 format, the highlights, the versatility, and conditioning as players must be adaptive in multiple facets of the game. So overall, I mean, the Unrivaled League is contributing to the growth of women's basketball by providing a platform that emphasizes speed, skill, and entertainment, right? Potentially attracting a new audience to the sport. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more coverages on it. I'm going to be talking about the game, be giving a thorough breakdown of it. And Angel Reese is in it, right? So we're going to be seeing what she's been working on, right? But we're going to take another quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Okay, we're back. So let's get into the final segment of the show, relationship talk. Okay, so here's the question. What are the signs that a partner is manipulative? Yeah, that's deep. That cuts deep. So, Trillionaire Chuck has the answer for you. Here are some of the signs. So, number one, gaslighting, right? So, gaslighting is a manipulative tactic where someone distorts your perception of reality to make you doubt your own feelings, memories, or judgments, right? Basically, like, they deny events or conversations that you clearly remember, okay? Saying things like, that never happened, right? Or you're imagining things. They question your emotional reactions, suggesting you're too sensitive or you're overreacting, right? They provide false narratives or insist their versions of events is the only truth, leaving you to second guess yourself. If you see these signs, right, clear as day, don't try to think too deep into it. Just see it in plain sight and listen to it. If you're listening and you're seeing it and they're gaslighting, it's a form of manipulation. Okay, here's another sign, right? Impact, right? So over time, gaslighting erodes your self-confidence and trust in your intuition, right? Making you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality, okay? So because they've been doing it for so long, right? And I honestly feel like some of y'all probably been gaslighted so much. That's why you lose self-confidence in yourself, or you don't trust your feeling or your intuition when you know something is wrong and you don't trust it and you think you might just be overreacting because that person who you've been with been gaslighting you for so long to make you doubt yourself. And you gotta always trust your intuition. You gotta trust your feelings, right? Be confident in yourself, right? Don't be the dummy. Don't be the fool, okay? So let's go on to the next one. Isolation, right? So when it comes to isolation, right, this is a tactic to cut you off from external support systems like your friends, your family, or colleagues, right? They try to create a wedge between y'all, right? So some things they might do, like they discourage you from attending social events or claim others are a bad influence on you. Now, them saying that this person may be a bad influence on you and they actually seeing that this person is a bad influence on you is two completely different things. I used to tell my ex all the time, I'm like, hey, I don't like that you hang with this person, right? But I gave her examples, right? It wasn't me trying to isolate her from her friends. This is what I was basically saying. So this is something that happened, okay? When she was out kicking it with her friend and her mom, right? I believe it was her mom's birthday. The mom invited her out, right? Now, I always used to tell her, make sure you have a way back home, right? Because I might be out kicking it. If I'm out kicking it, I may not hear my phone, right? So make sure you always have a way back. So when she's out kicking it, instead of having the mom drop her off at home, right, where she stayed at, she made her catch the bus, right? They dropped her like halfway off, and then she had to catch the bus on the way back. And then I had the nerve to tell her, well, I didn't invite you out. My mom did, right? Ain't that so crazy, right? Then we talking about her friend who dates dudes and is out here 304ing, right? Out here 304ing. And I'm sitting here like, if these are the friends you hang with, and they 304ing and you not, eventually, yeah. So it's just best to if you're trying to grow in life, some people you have to let go. Like I said, not creating isolation or nothing like that, but showing her like, look, these people could be potentially hindering you from reaching levels that you want to reach. She ain't want to listen. She ain't want to hear that. Okay, all right. And after when me and her split, hey, I mean, yeah, well, we ain't gonna say what happened to her, but yeah. Okay. Now, they guilt you for spending time with loved ones, saying things like, why do you need them when you have me? We hear this all the freaking time. Guys say this the most. This applies to guys the most, right? Because women always say, why you always want to hang with your friends? You got me, I'm your friend. You try to drive a wedge between, friendship. I used to tell women all the time, if I've known these people before I met you, they're not going nowhere, right? They're not going nowhere unless they be extremely disrespectful to you or disrespectful to the relationship. Other than that, they're not going nowhere, right? So, yeah. And, it's people that I know the difference. Like, I know the type of people I hang with. I know what they do and all that other stuff, right? But I am very well aware to not let that stop me from where I'm going in life, right? Now, but this is a completely different situation, right? These are people that are trying to stop you from spending time with others, right? That support the relationship. Is just they just want you all to themselves, right? Clingy in a way, you know. They want you all to themselves, right? Another thing is they also will create conflict with people in your life to force you to choose a side, right? Like, you know, your mama don't like me, and nobody in your family really mess with me. You gotta choose, right? So the impact of this is like isolation leaves you dependent on the manipulator for emotional and social support, increasing their control over you. Be mindful of this one, okay? Please be mindful of this one because you'll lose your friends and family. And then if it don't work out and you gotta go back, ooh, you definitely don't want to do that. Now they're gonna be looking at you funny. And ain't nothing worse than I told you so. Everybody hates hearing that I told you so. So let's see, what's another sign? Oh, blame shifting. What is blame shifting? Glad you asked. I take a drink on that one. Blame shifting. Avoiding responsibility by deflecting accountability and making you feel at fault for their actions or mistakes. Fellas, how many of us hear this? Well, I wouldn't have done this if you ain't did that. Two wrongs don't make a damn right. It don't, right? So like, here we go. Here's one. If they hurt your feelings, right? They may respond with, well, you made me act that way, right? I was upset and I went and had sex with Bobby because I was mad at you. I wanted my get back. That's what everybody want. I want my get back, right? Or when you confront them about their behavior and how they're acting, how they are treating you, they shift the focus, accusing you of being a problem, right? Well, what do you mean, Chuck? Simple. This is simple, y'all. You know the type that when you tell them something about how you feel. Hey, I don't like how the house be dirty and stuff like that. We both live here. I think we should both try to keep it clean. Why you always crying about the house being clean and everything and that nature? You always want to cry about this and that. The house wouldn't be dirty if you would have did such and such, such and such, right? If you be home and help out more, the house wouldn't be dirty. Kicking up shit like that. Like what? Or here's a better example. That probably wasn't a good example. A better example more so like when they shift the focus and making you the blame. When like they bring up old stuff like when it's the dishes in the sink and you know the person been home all day and dishes need to be washed and they be like, I washed the dishes last time. I washed them when it was in the sink like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, not wash them then. You know, here now. Or when they say that, here's the most craziest one that I used to always experience, right? When you're coming home and everything of that nature, right? And you know, stuff needs to be taken care of. Bills need to be paid, all that stuff, right? And the person's supposed to say, you're trying to have your partner pay the bills, right? Before they go do anything else, but they want to go party first, right? They're like, well, I'm going to party because I'm going through something. And you never are here to be here when I'm going through something or venting, so I go out. That's why I go out. It's to take my mind off what I'm going through. I would like, and it's like, what are you going through if things are being taken care of and they don't want to open up and tell you, but they make you the problem because you're always, whatever the case is, it's diabolical, right? They also will minimize their role in conflicts by exaggerating your reactions or mistakes. They always say like, they'll be like, you react too much to things, right? They're like, you're not the cause of the argument. They're never the cause of the argument, right? They shift everything to you and be like, I ain't did this, or oh my gosh, you're crying, you're overthinking this and all this other stuff, which goes back to gaslighting and stuff like that, right? So they kind of go hand in hand, right? And the impact of that brings, blame shifting creates confusion and guilt, leaving you constantly apologizing and feeling inadequate, right? How many of y'all felt like that? Like, dang, I'm always apologizing too much, even when you're not at fault. You're just apologizing. That's because they're blame shifting, you know. But another sign is emotional blackmail. what is emotional blackmail, Chuck? Well, it's more so using guilt, fear, or obligation to manipulate your choices and control your actions. So they'll say shit like, if you love me, you'll do this to coerce you into compliance. We hear that all the time. If you love me, you won't raise your voice while talking. If you love me, you won't take that job in New York. If you love me, you will buy me this Louis bag or this car or give me money to go see Chris Brown. Then they make threats like suggesting they'll harm themselves or leave if you don't comply with their demands, right? Like, this ain't got nothing to, don't confuse it with if you don't get your shit together, then yes, I'm going to leave you. Don't confuse that with that, okay? This isn't that. This is more so like, how can I put this? 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 Trying to think. If it's more so like, it's more so when they try to do this, it's hard to say because it's one of those things that it just has to happen. Like if you don't stop hanging with your friends, right? Or if you're gonna constantly, be with your best female friend, they always think y'all got something going on, but you're gonna be with your best female friend, the one you've known since grammar school, then I'ma leave you. And she ain't did nothing wrong. That could be emotional blackmailing, okay? But then they do things like this. They use past mistakes against you to justify why you should cater to their needs, saying things like, after everything I've done for you, you owe me. What's that name? What's that Genuine song? Shorty, say what's your price? Just to back it up, do you hold my eyes? Now let's say you owe. That's how they do. Hey, yo, I took you to the mall so you could shop with you and your friends. Hey, man. Hey, girl, you owe me some blackmailing, right? Emotional blackmail traps you in a cycle of fear and guilt where you prioritize their demands over your own well-being, right? So all of these tactics are designed to destabilize your sense of self and make you reliant on the manipulator for emotional validation or approval, right? Recognizing these behaviors is the first step toward protecting yourself and regaining your autonomy, right? And of course, if you want more insight on these types of things, you can also go to Psychology Today, Manipulation Tactics, or Healthline, Signs of Manipulative Behavior. My thing is this, y'all. Recognizing manipulative behavior is crucial, okay, for maintaining healthy relationships. Trust your instincts and seek support if you identify these signs in your partner, okay? Please. But that's my show for today. It's your host, Trillionaire Chuck, reminding you to always love yourself and each other. I almost forgot. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll catch you next time on Heartbeat Arena. I'm out, y'all.